Hi, I'm Lee from Nomad Pictures and I'm going to show you some quick and effective ways to get the best quality video out of either your smartphone or your webcam. You don't need to have expensive camera equipment to create great video, so we're going to strip all of that equipment away and I'm going to show you how we can create something great with just a smartphone or a webcam using some basic principles where we look at the positioning of the camera, we make sure we've got good lighting and we make sure we've got great audio as well. So let's strip all of that stuff away and we'll start from the beginning. This is a fairly typical scene and one I'm sure you've seen lots of times on video chats, but there's a few things that we can do to improve the quality of it fairly quickly. The lighting in here isn't particularly good, the audio sounds pretty poor, but also I'm looking down at the camera as well, which is fairly typical for video conversations. What I'm going to do then immediately to improve things is just lift the camera up like that so we're talking at eye to eye level. And I'm also going to make sure I'm looking into the lens as well. A common mistake for people when they're looking into either a phone for a selfie camera or when they're talking on a web chat is that they're going to look at themselves rather than the lens. And that's quite jarring to the audience. If you're talking to someone and they're looking over to your left or your right or over your shoulder, it's not particularly engaging. So those are two things we can do very quickly to improve the quality without spending any money. The next thing we'll address is lighting. Now with smartphone cameras, particularly the front-facing cameras and webcams, the sensors aren't fantastic. And so to get the best quality image we can out of them, it's important to make sure we've got good quality lighting. And so while the first rule is try and get as much light as you can, the second is to try and figure out how to get that position with the camera for best effect. Now the light for this room is through just the window, it's natural light over to my right or the left on your screen. But if I turn around so that light is behind me, you'll see that I'm now silhouetted. My face is a little bit darker because the background is so bright. And if I spin around the other way so that I'm facing the light, then suddenly that scene becomes a bit brighter and a bit easier to work with. That camera is going to be getting much more out of this scene than it was the other way around. So try and make sure you're near to an abundant light source and make sure you're facing into the light and the camera's facing you. Now your audience will tolerate bad visuals for much longer than they will tolerate bad audio. So it's important that we make sure that's as good as it can possibly be. And so while everything else that we've looked at is free and doesn't cost anything, I am going to suggest that you spend a little bit of money on a decent external microphone. Now by decent external microphone, I don't mean spending hundreds of pounds. You can get a cheap lavalier mic for about £20, but that is going to be substantially better quality than the microphone in either your laptop or in your smartphone. This is the audio through a lavalier mic. And this is the audio on the smartphone again. This again is the audio through the lav mic. And one last time, this is the audio on the smartphone. Now this is a relatively cheap microphone. It costs about £20 on Amazon and it's really easy to use. You just plug it straight into your laptop or your smartphone. If you've got an iPhone, you might need an adapter, and I'll include links to both of those things in the comments below. But as you can hear, it adds a drastic improvement on the quality of the audio and then generally brings up the quality of the video altogether as well. So there you have it, some simple and effective things that we can do to ensure you're getting the best quality output out of whatever devices or cameras you have. We've looked at how we make sure we're engaging with the camera, how we make the best use of whatever light sources we have, and how we approach the all-important aspect of audio to make sure we're getting the best engagement possible with our video. I hope these tips have been helpful and that they help you create something great for your audience.